Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks, where I bring you those top stories making headlines in Israel, hot off the press. And by hot, I mean hot. Guys, it's over 40 degrees here. And I do this every Monday to Thursday, the news you will not see in the mainstream media. And I do it in partnership with these guys, Lay Off the Land, and more about where you can find us, our social media, a little later in the show. Now, it is day 642 since the atrocities of the 7th of October. Yesterday, I spoke to you a bit about the Dina Project, their report on the crimes of sexual violence committed against women, young girls, and some men on the 7th of October by Hamas and other terror entities who weaponized rape as a weapon of war. I really urge everybody to read it, as painful as the contents are. I also want to remind everybody that we still have 50 hostages being held in captivity in Gaza. We want them home now. Time is of the essence. Their medical condition, their psychological condition, the 20 that we still know are alive is rapidly deteriorating, and the dead we want to bring home to lay to rest in dignity. Time is absolutely of the essence. So with that said, let's take a look at the top stories making headlines, and we go now to the Oval Office. And last night, Prime Minister Netanyahu met again with President Trump, this time joined by Vice President J.D. Vance. Now, the meeting lasted for about an hour and a half, and according to Prime Minister Netanyahu, there was a focus on how to release the hostages, how to end Hamas's military capabilities in the Gaza Strip, and very importantly, how to expand the Abraham Accords. They said, there is a lot of focus on expanding that there. Meanwhile, there were some reports that the special envoy to the Middle East, who is very involved with the negotiations, Steve Witkoff, delayed his departure to Doha, where negotiations are ongoing. Now, this brings an end to the Prime Minister's visit to Washington, and he is due to fly back to Israel any moment. What is happening with a ceasefire? So let's take a look at some of the issues that are holding up a final announcement. Now, from what we hear, the negotiations are about 80 to 90% done. There are still a few sticking points. So one of the sticking points is the maps of withdrawal. Now, if you've been following the war on the ground in Gaza, you will know that the area has been divided up, and the maps that were initially submitted, those were rejected, so new maps of withdrawal will be submitted. Another sticking point is the issue of humanitarian aid. Hamas want the aid to come in and be distributed via the UN and their agencies, while Israel and the United States find that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation model that bypasses Hamas, that doesn't allow for Hamas to hijack the aid and resell it to Palestinians at exorbitant prices, and also, very importantly, doesn't hijack the aid. The GHF is distributing so far over 63 million meals to civilians in Gaza directly. And again, I urge you all to follow their work. You can if you are on X. Their handle is GHF Updates, at GHF Updates. And you will get updates from there on pretty much almost an hourly basis. Now, Hamas want the UN as their mechanism. So this is another sticking point. However, speaking in Bratislava, Slovakia earlier today, Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar said that Israel is very, very serious about this deal. We want to see all our hostages home. If Hamas would release all of the hostages, the war would end immediately. And he said that if there is an agreement on a temporary ceasefire, then we can start to talk about a permanent ceasefire. Meanwhile, one person who doesn't seem to get the memo regarding ceasefires and negotiations is the Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom, David Lammy, who threatened Israel with harsh action should a ceasefire not be reached. A reminder, Mr. Lammy, that Israel is a democracy and is your ally, whereas Hamas, who you seem to be given a free pass to, are proscribed, including in your country. Now everybody, break out the challah sandwiches. Apparently they were so good, the flotilla is sailing here again. Yes, a month after the flotilla of the Madeleine was intercepted and Greta Thunberg and her merry gang of selfie takers were deported, a new flotilla is due to set sail on the 13th of July. Now, on board will be volunteers and doctors and social justice warriors and journalists. I mean, you can almost smell the sanctimony from here. This flotilla is called the Handala, and let's watch what happens with that one very closely. Personally, I thought that the IDF handled the last one brilliantly. Let's see what happens with this one. And finally, we end our show with a very, very happy announcement. And that is news that former hostages Sasha Trufanov and Sapir Cohen have gotten engaged. Yes, they got engaged today. Sapir and Sasha were taken from Kibbutz Nir Oz on the 7th of October and held captive by Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Now, Sapir was released in November 2023 and Sasha in January of this year. Sapir did not for a second after she was released stop campaigning for the release of her beloved, and we wish them a lifetime of joy and love and happiness together. So those are top stories, and they're just in time for the audience question that comes from Kevin in the United Kingdom, who says, and this is a very important question, why are settlers proving to be like terrorists? Okay, so first of all, let's look at the word settler. I don't like to use pejoratives because there's different kinds of settlers, but the ones that I think Kevin is referring to are those that are proving to be very, very extreme, setting fire to property belonging to Palestinians and also setting fire to military installations and attacking our soldiers. And they basically are behaving like terrorists and are being treated as such. They are doing it to cause as many disruptions as possible. They're doing it because they want to spark some kind of flare-up with the Palestinians in those territories and create absolute havoc for our soldiers who are tasked with keeping the peace there. So their actions have been condemned by the Defense Minister, the Prime Minister, the head of the army, as well as Israelis. It's important to note it's a very, very small fringe group, and they will be treated with the full extent of the law. So that's it from me for today, guys. Please don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page is at Lottel's site. Our YouTube channel is right here at the Israel Brief. Where else are we? Oh yeah, we are on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks, Instagram at Rolene_Marks, and X at Lay of the Land 5. So guys, God bless you. My love to all of you from me, and I will see you again tomorrow. And don't forget your mensches and your morons. Bye for now.